Hi everyone, and welcome to another Townie Makeover Home Edition. Today I'm renovating the home of the Roomies household because earlier this week I gave them a cast makeover, and whenever I go in and give Townie Sims cast makeovers, I always want to renovate their home and improve on what's there and make it look a bit better, add some more personality, because most of the homes that come with the game are furnished rather sparsely, and that does make sense because I think they do that for performance reasons, because not everyone's computer can run a lot that has a bunch of items on it, but I just like to go in and clutter it up a little bit, add a little more personality. And this is another one of those base game homes that is a little odd. There's definitely some cool things about this home. Like, I think the shape of it is awesome. I mean, it looks like a square, but then it has this courtyard in the middle of it that is really cool. And I also like the roof line of it. I feel like it's something a bit different, and it's a pretty cool looking mid-century modern home, but the layout on the inside in the main area is kind of weird because, as you can see, you walk in and then you got a random wall for the TV, and then you just got some couches, and then off to the side is the dining room, and then there's this area that's kind of like jutted out. It's this area here I'm trying to like make into a chimney, so that's just kind of weird that that's off center from the dining room, and it's just got some random counters on it. So yeah, I just wanted to improve that some, although it was hard to figure out something that I felt really made sense with the space, but I think I did improve on it a bit. But for the outside of it, I added a pool, of course, because when the base came out, we didn't have those, so we had to go in and add a pool because things do get pretty hot in Oasis Springs. And I also replaced that kind of ugly looking pavement that it had in the back area and on the path in the front of it, so I changed it to that concrete in the pool area. And then here, as you can see, I used those stone pavers that came with Get Together, which just look really cool. Like, at first I thought they were just regular old rugs and I didn't use them for the longest time, and then I looked at them a bit more closely and I realized, wait, those are actually stone pavers. Like, those could be pretty handy for landscaping. So yeah, I put them to use here, and I just think it worked really well with this house, and it worked well with the mid-century modern look of it. And I was trying to make this sort of with the areas the plants went into, I was trying to make it sort of circular shape, like add a little bit of waviness to it. I thought that went with the mid-century vibe of the house somehow. Like, I don't know, it's just when I think of mid-century modern landscaping, I just think of kind of like groovy landscape. I don't know if that's exactly groovy, but I don't know, that's just in general the kind of thing I was thinking about. And I was trying to keep the landscaping on this house a bit more sparse because in the past I've tended to put so many plants in that you can't see the dirt that's underneath the plants. But with this one, I just want to space it out a little bit more. I felt like that kind of made sense for the desert landscape in a way. But it did still turn out a little bit more crowded than I meant for it to in the end. And honestly, it's not really my favorite landscaping that I've done, but I was just trying to do something a bit different than what I typically do, and I thought about putting a rock border on it, and I also thought about using those, there's like these flour bags or bricks, I'm not sure what they are, but there's this item in the Buy Debug menu that you can use to make it look like a paved border for a garden. But like, I tried that and I cut it out, but I just didn't really like how that looked, and I feared that using rocks would be a bit busy, so I just left it as this. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not really my favorite thing, but I think it still turned out fairly decently. Like, I feel like I always have a little bit more trouble figuring out the plant life for a desert home like this. Like, it's just so much easier for worlds like Windenburg and Willow Creek. I just have a little bit more trouble with this world in Del Sol Valley. And another thing I got to use on this house that I haven't used before was that new siding that came with Get Famous, because I've been wanting to use it, but I haven't really built anything that it really worked well for, because as I said, there was that other mid-century modern home that I built, but didn't really look right on that one. But it did look pretty good on this one, although one thing I do wish was a bit different about that siding was that it came in colors other than shades of blue and shades of brown and gray, because that's kind of the color scheme we got with the wallpaper, the siding that we got with Cats and Dogs. And I was just really hoping that the next time we got siding after Cats and Dogs, it would have had some different color swatches to it, but no, it's kind of more of the same. So just a little thing I would like to see in the game is more siding colors. Like, I would really love some bright lime green siding and just different kinds of shades than what we have, because the base game siding did come with some interesting shades, but I don't know, those sidings aren't always the best, and I just want more variety for siding in general. But that's just such a little thing, but definitely something I want. But we are already on decorating this area out here in the back near the pool. So we just got a nice sitting area that's very bright and cheery looking. So I can just imagine the four of them sitting out here and chilling, because this household does consist of four roommates. You've got Zoe Patel, Gavin Richards, Jay Huntington III, and Mitchell Kalani, I think was his name. I'm kind of blanking a little bit on his last name. But yeah, so you got the four of them, and I discussed this in the cast makeover I did of them, but they are a reference to the TV show New Girl, which is something that made me like them more once I found out about that. And I'm pretty sure what they're getting at with this household is that the three guys knew each other, they were best buds, and then Zoe came along as kind of the new girl, because that was a deal in the TV show where you had three guys who were living together in this really cool loft. And then Jess, who is the main character that Zoe's based off, came to live with them. And I just like that they named Zoe, because the actress who plays Jess in the show is Zoe Deschanel. So it sounds kind of like Zoe Patel, Zoe Patel, Zoe Deschanel. The last names even like kind of sound similar in a way, like they have the same last two letters. So I just found that a little fun fact about this household. But apart from the seating area, we've just got a table out here, which I stuck under that overhang that I added on because, I thought with the heat, it doesn't matter at all, but I thought it'd be nice to add a little bit of shade to this. And I have been watching, because I went on another home renovation show, Kick, recently, and I watched every episode of Desert Flippers that was on Hulu. So that gave me a little bit of inspiration for this, although I didn't end up, because they actually have some really good tricks on that show for desert landscaping. So if you want inspiration for furnishing the more desert, or landscaping the more desert areas in Oasis Springs, then check out some of the things they've done on that series, because it just gave me a whole lot of inspiration for if I ever do a desert build in the future, because they did stuff like they put turf circles, which sounds really weird, but it actually looked kind of cool, where they had a garden that was like gravel or sand, and then they had random turf circles. I don't know if you're really getting a picture of what I'm saying, but that's just stuff like that I thought was very cool and I wouldn't have thought of. So that was a little bit of my inspiration for the landscaping of this house. And yeah, on that series, they're always talking about how if you have a house out in Los Angeles where it's really hot, like in the desert, you want to have some kind of shade so that you don't get quite as much heat on the back of the house and if you're right outside. So I was just kind of thinking about that when I was adding that overhang to the back of it, because yeah, that was like right after I'd watched a bunch of that series. And then after I watched that show, I also watched all of Flipper Flop Nashville that was on there. And there are some other Flipper Flops from different cities, but they're locked for some reason. I don't know if there's some kind of extra HGTV subscription on Hulu or what, but can't really watch those. So unfortunately, I think that's the end of my most recent HGTV show kick, because that tends to happen where I'll watch most of what's on there, and then I'll kind of exhaust that catalog, and then I'll go back to watching other shows, and then eventually be like, oh, maybe there's some new stuff from HGTV on here, so then I'll go check it, I'll watch a bunch more. So it's just like, I have these off and on kicks every few months where I just get into watching the shows, and I kind of fall off of that, and find other things to watch. And another thing I did to the outside was that I replaced those really small windows that were off of the bedrooms with some slightly bigger ones. Like, I think they did that so it kind of looked like there's privacy, but I didn't like it because on the back of the house you have these really big open windows, and on the side here as well, but then you just have these really tiny windows everywhere else, and it just made it so the bedrooms felt very dark, and I did not like that at all. And I did think about putting the floor to ceiling windows in on the bedrooms, but that maybe that's too little privacy. Not that any of this matters, but that maybe it's like a little weird to have floor to ceiling windows like that off of bedrooms that are right at the front of the house. So I just went for it in between, and I like how it looks. It just added so much more light to the bedrooms, though, so I added a little overhang thing on top of it. But anyway, we're on to the inside now, so I should talk about that. So we are in the living room, and we've got some nice mid-century modern furniture in here because I haven't really had a chance to use this furniture since the last mid-century modern home I built. So yeah, I just wanted to use this stuff once again because I do really like this furniture set, and I think this is the color of this furniture that I used before. So whenever I use this again, I definitely need to use some of the different swatches of it, but this is just really what I felt was best for this house. And I imagine this household as being young adults who aren't fresh out of the nest. They're not 18, 19, or 20-year-olds moving out on their first place on their own. Like, I feel like they're in their mid to late 20s, and they're kind of getting established in their careers a bit. They have a little bit more money, so that's why they have this nice place. And I think that's what was going on in the show New Girl, because they had that really nice loft in, I think, Los Angeles, which I always thought to myself, like, as much as I love that show, I always thought to myself that that was a little bit unrealistic, because I know Nick was a bartender at the beginning of the series, and then, yeah, sorry, I'm probably going to talk about this a little bit more throughout this video, so sorry if any of you haven't seen New Girl, but I think Nick was a bartender, and that's the character that I believe Mitchell's based off of, and then Winston, who is the character in the show that I believe Gavin is based off, was, I don't know what he was doing at the beginning of the series. I remember he played in a Latvian basketball league, and then he came back, so I don't know if he really had a whole lot going on then, and then I don't remember what Schmidt did, but I'd imagine, like, he did something where he made a bit more money, but either way, like, it just always seemed kind of unrealistic to me that they had this loft, this pretty big loft in Los Angeles. Maybe it wasn't Los Angeles, but I could have sworn that's the city it was in. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, though, because it's TV. It doesn't all have to be perfectly realistic, but either way, yeah, I think they were all, like, late 20s in the beginning of the series. So, yeah, that's just where I was thinking these four were at in their life, because I think Jay was in the tech guru career, and then Mitchell was a bartender, and then I think Gavin was in the writing career. I'm not 100% sure on that, because I know he wanted to be a writer from his aspiration, so I believe that is the career that he's in. And then Zoe, I don't think has anything going on. I think she was unemployed. But I think they did that more so to kind of go with the whole, she's the new girl, you know, she's kind of coming into a new place, sort of unestablished. So I think that's something you can pick out for her if you do choose to play this household. I was also imagining that Jay was the one who originally found this house, because I believe the bedroom that has its own exclusive bathroom was supposed to be Jay's. It's a little hard to tell whose room was whose. Like, it was fairly obvious which room was supposed to be Zoe's, but then with the other three, I had a guess of it. So I think that one with the dedicated master suite type bathroom was supposed to be Jay's, and then I believe Mitchell's was supposed to be the smallest, and then Gavin's was supposed to be the one that shares the bathroom with Mitchell's room, because that one had a computer in it, and I believe it was the only one with a computer. And since Gavin is in the writing career, that's something he would need. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was his room. So anyway, because of that room arrangement, I was just imagining that Jay was the one who found this house, and then his buddies moved in with him, and then maybe they had a fourth friend who moved out, and then they needed someone else to take that room, and that's where Zoe came in. And I see Jay as caring about how things look. Like, he wants this house that's impressive, because, I mean, this is, I don't know, a little stereotypical or whatever, but, you know, they said that the description of him was an uptight ladies man, so I was kind of thinking that, you know, he wanted this house that looked really nice, so when he brought girls home, he could impress them. Like, that's just the kind of thing I was envisioning for him. So yeah, just thinking, you know, he picked out a lot of stuff and just really wants things to look good. And you might have seen that I also added some pet stuff throughout, because I did give them a cat, because in the New Girl TV show, they had a cat named Ferguson, who was Winston's cat. So yeah, I gave them some cat stuff. I gave them, when I gave them their cast makeover, I gave them a cat named Ferguson, so I of course had to add stuff for him throughout the house. And then I put a cat tree in Gavin's room, so it kind of shows that that's his cat, because, you know, the cat stuff is in there. And I just realized I don't think I ever put a litter box in this house. I have to look through after I'm done recording this and see if I did or not, but if I didn't, then I'll make sure that that's included in the house before I upload it, because that might have been a thing I forgot, so I'm not sure where I'm going to stick it. I think I'm going to have to put it in the bathroom that Mitchell and Gavin share, so maybe I could stick it in Gavin's room, but I don't really like sticking litter boxes in the Sims rooms, because I don't know, I just always find that kind of gross. Like, I just prefer to have litter boxes either in a bathroom or in somewhere like a basement that's not really a high traffic area. Like, that's just my personal preference for my own home, so that's just kind of the thing I try to do for Sims homes. So yeah, I'll just check and make sure that's there before I upload this. But we are on to the hall bathroom, and I think this is supposed to be Zoe's bathroom too. So I also stuck a laundry, like a washer and dryer in here as well, just so that's included with the house. And this is also kind of like the guest bathroom, so it's a little bit less private. I also kept the concrete floor that was in the bathroom originally, because I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the industrial vibe that it gave this house, and it's not something I would normally do. So I wanted to keep it, and I just really like that this bathroom's a bit different than what I usually do with mine, because I've been doing so many bathrooms recently where I just use a wallpaper from Parenthood, like that's my go-to. So it was actually kind of refreshing to just do something different with all the bathrooms in this house, although I was a little lazy, and I just use the same items throughout each bathroom. Like I just furnished all 3 of the bathrooms right in a row because I got on a little bit of a roll, but I did try to make them a little bit personalized for the Sims who are using them. Like for the bathroom that's Zoe's, I tried to add some brightly colored things in there because Zoe is cheerful, so I'd imagine she'd want to add some bright, just some bright and cheerful things to it to brighten up a little bit because it's kind of a dark, more neutral bathroom. And then for Jay's bathroom, I added some sports things to it because he has the athletic trait, or the active trait, I think is actually what it is. So I just want to show that by giving him that soccer bath mat, which I thought was fun. I don't usually use that swatch of it. And then we just got some sports posters in his room. And then for this bathroom, I stuck the guitar bath mat in here, which, like, none of them are really into music, I don't think. But although I think I stuck a guitar in Mitchell's room. I can't remember. No, I don't think I did. No, I just stuck a microphone in there because he wants to become a comedian. But I just still, like, thought that would be kind of a fun thing they would have in their bathroom. Like, I kind of envisioned that Mitchell was the one who got that because Gavin's a little bit more neat, so I feel like he would want things to look very nice. So I feel like both him and Jay really wanted things in this house to look nice and put together. And then Mitchell, I get the feeling, maybe doesn't really care about that too much. And we are into Zoe's bedroom, which I try to make look cheerful and bright because that's just what I thought would suit her personality. We're adding a tablet onto her end table, which I think I did for all of their bedrooms. I did this when I renovated the Caliente family's house. I don't know, that's just a habit I'm in right now, although it does get kind of annoying gameplay-wise because Sims will just pick them up and stick them all over the house. So like when I started my Caliente family Let's Play, I think I deleted all but 1 or 2 of the tablets because they kept picking them up, using them, and then just dropping them on the floor all over the place, and just got really annoying having all these tablets all over the place. So that's something I should maybe stop doing because it does get annoying gameplay-wise, but I just really like how it looks in general. Like, I just really like how it looks in the build. It's kind of like they got their own technology, because a lot of people nowadays have like phones and tablets, and they have their own, and everyone in the family or house will have their own. So that's why I just did that because, like they've all got their own iPad or whatever you want to call it. And then I also gave them all TVs in their rooms because since they are just 4 young adults living together, I figure they want their own TVs. Like they don't want to all share the living room TVs. So I just imagine that they want to have their own TVs in their room. So if they want to watch something specific, they can just go in there and sit on their bed and watch TV. And I also gave them all computers just to go with that whole thing because this isn't a family where you're going to have the computer that everyone shares or like the TV that everyone shares. They're living their own individual lives. So that's just kind of why I gave them all, each of them have their own like different pieces of technology in their room. I just feel like that's kind of realistic for roommate type homes like this. But on her desk, I did stick some of those My Sim dolls because I was trying to figure out what to put on her desk. And my usual go-to desk decoration is lamp, pencil cup, and then that manila folder decoration from Get to Work. But I didn't really see Zoe having that. I wanted to do something different. So I just thought those My Sim dolls worked really well. Just like there's something that she collects or just something cute that she wanted to have on her desk. And I just thought that kind of went with her cheery personality a bit. But we are into Jay's bedroom right now, although right now I'm trying to figure out which beds I'm going to give all of them because I just want to make sure I gave them all different beds because I just felt like it'd be a little weird if like 2 of them had the same kind of headboard on their bed. So yeah, just with this situation, I just want to make sure I did something different for each of the rooms. But Jay's room is very monochromatic. It's got a very black and gray color scheme. Like there's very little color in here other than that. And I don't know, that's just kind of what I envisioned him as having, like him wanting to have this perfect matching room that looked all high-end and impressive just to go with what I was talking about earlier about how he wanted to have a place that looks impressive for if he happens to bring anyone home with him. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I haven't used this set of furniture in a while either, but yeah, it does work really well in here. And I was a bit worried that this room was a little bit too monochromatic, but whenever I tried to add a bright pop of color, it just felt really out of place. Like I tried adding in pops of reds a few times and I just really wasn't feeling it. Like it just looked weird to have all these grays and blacks and then this one random red thing. Although we do have some color with like the decorations I'm placing on top of the dresser here, and that painting also adds some colors to it, some colors in it other than gray and black obviously. But yeah, apart from that, I just felt like it was best to leave it at this color scheme. And then I was trying to figure out where to stick the desk in, because I didn't want to stick it, because I had the mirror there originally, and then if I stuck the desk there, then would have blocked the mirror, made it hard to use. But then I realized, oh, I can just swap the plant in the mirror and then it'll be good, and then the desk will fit in here pretty well, although I do need to play test this a bit and make sure that they get through that space between the bed and the desk, because I'm now realizing that is a bit cramped. So there's just a few things in this build that I really need to go through and test for functionality, because I kind of shove some stuff close together in some spots, but hopefully it's fine. I mean, I've been pretty impressed with what Sims can squeeze through in this game in the past, so hopefully that's the case. It's a lot better than The Sims 3 when they needed like a whole tile of space. Like, they could kind of get through with at least a half tile of space in this game. Oh yeah, and I also gave him a Lindsay smart speaker. I haven't used it since that one apartment I did where I stuck them all over the place. So yeah, I thought that'd be a cool thing that I could envision him having, because he is also in the tech guru career. So I could see him wanting to have the highest end stuff, you know, wanting to have this really cool smart speaker, and I just swapping out this desk here because wasn't really liking how the glass top one looked in here. So now we're on to Gavin's bedroom. And this one just has more of a blue color scheme. And there you can see the cat tree that I placed in here for Ferguson, which I just think is so cute. Like, I just love that there is, like, you know, that they've got this cat, you know, the cat in here that's like a kind of a remake of the cat from New Girl. Like, I just had so much fun trying to recreate Ferguson in The Sims, although I didn't really do it exactly. Like, I wasn't trying to, you know, like I said this in the makeover, but I didn't want to sit there for hours trying to perfectly recreate Ferguson. But yeah, the Ferguson in the game is definitely Ferguson inspired. Or I mean, he looks a lot like Ferguson, and I thought he was Persian, but then I looked it up and I realized that he's actually an exotic short hair, I believe, which does look a lot like a Persian, but a bit different. Yeah, so I kind of messed up a little bit because when I made him, I picked the breed as Persian, which he is not, and I'm not sure if there is an exotic short hair in the catalog. There probably is, because there's a lot of different kinds of cats, but yeah, that's a little bit of an oopsie on my part, but he still does look a good bit like Ferguson from the show. But right now I'm just getting some clutter on here, so we're actually getting pretty close to the finishing of Gavin's room, which I think might be, I don't know, like I'm pretty happy with how all the bedrooms in this turned out, but I just don't really like his for some reason. I'm also pretty happy with how Jay's turned out. Like, I think those are my two favorites out of the bedrooms, but I think I like this one a little bit more because it's got a bit more color to it than Jay's bedroom does. And I was also trying to keep it fairly neat, although I did have some clutter here and there, but yeah, because he has a niche right, I was trying not to overdo it too much. But now we're on to the last bedroom, which is Mitchell's. And with his, I left it a little bit messier. I wasn't trying to make it a complete pigsty, because he doesn't have the slob trade, but he does have the lazy trade, so I just was imagining that he's not really the best about picking up things. You know, like, he's not really in a rush to pick up every little thing that's out of place, or, you know, make everything super neat and tidy. And for some reason, I also imagine him being into video games a bit. I don't know why, like, I just kind of envisioned that for him, so I gave him that gaming chair, and then I also gave him a video game system in his room, and just added a bunch more clutter to the top of his desk. And then, as I said before, I also gave him a microphone because he doesn't want to become a comedian. But we are almost at the end of the building part of the video, so as usual, if you do want to download this, there will be a link to do so in the description. There will also be stuff in there on how to find it in-game. And that is going to be all from me, so I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.